Welcome to the Clemson Dubcast. It is spring game week. Bigger than in years past, it feels like. A lot of anticipation, of course, about Garrett Riley and the offense he's going to bring to Clemson. Of course, he's not going to show all the bells and whistles, but I think he's still going to show quite a bit. I think they're going to throw a lot. I don't know if you can make a statement in the spring game, but kind of feels that way as this offense sort of tries to transform itself, its identity, and the perception of it. Plenty of coverage coming at TigerIllustrated.com. My good friends Blake Smith and Brooke Archenhold have been part of the podcast since the beginning, way back in August of 2018. They have an accomplished team of personal injury attorneys at Parham, Smith, and Archenhold based in Greenville. They are Clemson people, and their skillful attorneys have decades of experience in complicated litigation matters, taking a special interest in medical malpractice, nursing home abuse and neglect, car accident cases that have left the individuals involved in serious trouble. For a free consultation at Parham, Smith, and Archenhold, call 864-990-4581 or online at parhamlaw.com. That's PARHAM law.com. Want to share a quick word about Founders Federal Credit Union? If you've been to a sporting event in Clemson, you've probably heard about Founders already. They are the official credit union partner of the Clemson Tigers. In addition to that, all Clemson faculty, staff, and students are eligible for membership as well as IPTAY members. Matt Gross is a proud Clemson alum and the vice president for the Clemson market for Founders Federal Credit Union. Matt's office is located beside the Walmart Neighborhood Market on Old Greenville Highway in Clemson. For more information, go to foundersfcu.com. When you're ready for a complete renovation in your home or business, open the door to more with Harris Home and Harris Commercial. Their local experienced team will totally transform any room space, from beautiful floor coverings to construction to finished details. Harris handles every step of your renovation process, whether it's a kitchen or living room or an industrial or educational setting, like some of the positively stunning work they've done at Clemson University. Go to discoverharris.com and experience a total renovation transformation from Harris Home and Harris Commercial. Okay, there have been some really good sit-downs in recent weeks with all of Clemson's assistant coaches, and a lot of good stuff in there. Today, we felt it'd be cool to present the sit-downs that Kyle Richardson and Lemanski Hall had recently, and we will start with Kyle Richardson, who, by the way, not a fan of country music. Good stuff.
What's the biggest difference you think in the passing game, both between Cade and DJ and with this new offense that Garrett Riley's bringing in?
Yeah, from a standpoint of just passing game, schematically, it's simple. Not a lot of plays, and you take those plays and you mix and match them into different formations and motions to make them look different to a defense, but to the quarterback, there's still those 10 plays or whatever it is, but it's just a handful of stuff. And, from a quarterback standpoint, I'm not going to make a comparison between Cade and DJ because they were playing in two different systems, and they're not the same. But at the same time, we've done some things, like I said, schematically that I think will take advantage of our personnel, take advantage of our skill set at the receiver position, at the tight end position, at the running back position, and it's only going to benefit the quarterbacks that we're bringing in here, and currently with Cade and CV, and Hunter Helms has done a great job learning the system and being able to execute it. And today at practice we made some big plays offensively, had a really good day at practice, and they're just starting to get more comfortable with it. And as the quarterbacks get more comfortable, they become more confident, and then that starts to just kind of spread throughout the rest of the group. So it's just, I would say, if I put it in one word, simple.
Quick programming note real quick, if anybody wants to step out, Cole Turner started as well, if not continue.
I think last year at this time, simplifying was one of the buzzwords too. Was the difference then compared to now, just eliminating a lot of the stuff that had built up in the playbook over years, and now it's just a matter of reducing it to reducing it even more?
Yeah, it's different because last year simplifying was trying to simplify the system that we were in and trying to eliminate some things that we don't run a lot or we put in and don't run during the season. So that simplifying was totally different than what I'm saying now from this offense schematically is just simple, and it's easy. Last year we were trying to, take a bunch of years that are kind of probably, jumped on top of each other and addition, and there wasn't a lot of subtraction. So when I got the job last year, that was one of the things I wanted to do is kind of subtract some things. We're quick to add a lot of stuff, and all offenses are like that. You're quick to add a lot of stuff and not really think about it. And then next thing you know, you go from, a system of this to, it's just kind of a hodgepodge of a lot of stuff. So last year when I was talking simplifying, and that's what we did as an offense, we did simplify. We took out some stuff that we didn't run a lot, or we were just practicing and repping because that's the way we had done it years before. Now it's totally different because, again, it's a totally different scheme. So when you hear the buzzword simple, it's because the scheme is simple. We're not coming in, and going, hey, we need to simplify things. It's already simplified. Now we need to go rep it. Now we need to go learn it. Now we need to be, like I said, we need to be comfortable with it, and then that comfortable will lead to confidence. And you can slowly see that happening every single day that we get more time with it, whether it's mental reps or physical reps. It's not just about practicing the days that we practice. We get 15 times out on the field, but that's not how many times we get in the classroom learning this system too. So that's part of it.
Richardson spoke about freedom for the quarterbacks and receivers, like how it's freedom there. Can you just elaborate some on that?
It's one of those things where, this system just kind of allows them to play, where, in the past there may have been, hey, this route has to be like this. It's got to be this many steps, or it's got to be, run to this vicinity and you have to stay in this spot or whatever. This is a little bit of, hey, this is where we want you to go, and on the way there, if some things happen, then let's play football. So that's probably what he was meaning by that. But, I tell the tight ends all the time, like, defensive coaches get paid too, and defensive coaches spend a lot of time game planning and trying to scheme you up. So I may draw up a look, or I may show you a look, and that's the perfect look, because I'm drawing it up. And I want it to look perfect or look right so I can teach it to you. But then you get out on the field and it don't look that way, or it's different. And that's what that means, Here's how we got to install it, and here's what we're installing it against. But when you get out there and the coaches aren't between the white lines, you still got to go play football, and you still got to find a way to make this play work. So that's kind of what that means. And there's some plays in the system like, no, it's black and white, But there's a lot of plays within this system that not only the quarterback has some freedom to check one dude or to change something. The receiver also has some freedom. The tight end has some freedom. The running back has some freedom. Hey, I went here when you told me to go here, and it wasn't there, so now I'm going here. And that's okay. We're all on the same page. But the biggest thing is, as long as we're making definitive decisions that the quarterback knows why we're doing what we're doing, and we're both on the same page, whether it's quarterback and tight end, quarterback receiver, quarterback and running back, even if you're wrong in making that decision, if he knows why you're making the decision and where you're going, we can still make it right. And that's kind of what that means.
I guess last year, the concept was option routes and putting options in there. I mean, is there now more control just in the quarterback's hands in terms of defining what is going to happen? Or what's the difference between the option routes you guys had last year and what they will change?
Yeah, we're really not, this system's not a big option route system. It's like I said, it's more, hey, you're running this route and you need to run this route. Now, if things happen within that route while you're running that route, you could change some things up. From like last year, it was, hey, you could go right or you could go left based off some things, and that's not really how this system works. So we're not living in that world. We changed some things last year to make some of our plays just help ourselves in some of those plays, but with this system, you really don't have to do that. Like I said, it's more about, hey, I'm going right, I may go right high, I may go right low, but I'm going right. And there's no I may go right, left, or straight based off of where the defense is. And that's kind of what that was last year when we were tweaking some things. And then some of those things, we saw production and we saw some good things happen from those things. But now none of that matters. We're not doing that really much anymore.
You talk about simplicity of scheme. Is that one of the things that enabled TCU's offense to go so fast? And do you expect this offense to be noticeably faster than last year?
Yeah, the good thing about, this offense is with it being simple, with not a lot of plays, right, you can play faster. And one of the big reasons why you can play faster is because you're thinking faster. And the mental side of it is not slowed down. So, yeah, we'll be able to control the tempo however we want to. But the play calls get in quicker. We're not, in this system, the Garrett is going to signal the play. You don't have boards and you don't have all that other stuff. In the past, in order for us to get a play going, there was a lot of stuff that had to happen and orchestrated to even get the play call in. And then from there was a ton of communication that had to happen to get the play call started. So you don't see that much in this offense. So if you want to play fast, there's opportunities to play faster because it is, like I said, it's easier, it's simple. Play calls aren't as long and as detailed. But if you want to play slow, you can play slow. You want to huddle, you want to huddle. You want the quarterback to slow it down and control a little bit, you can do that too. So that's the beauty of this. You can and there's a bunch of different TCU, Oklahoma, all the teams, that's really made their living in this system. They're not a breakneck speed, as fast as you can go, and you go and you look, and they're not going to be the number one, number two, number three, most called plays in a game. But when they want to go fast, they can go fast, and that's a strength to this offense, and that will be something different than what you've probably seen in the past few years here.
How much, if any, is your role changed in actually coordinating the passing game, or maybe there's some different things that Garrett has asked you to do?
Yeah, we're still kind of new in the process. The biggest thing right now was, right when he got here, we jumped right on the road recruiting. So, he was here a day or two, and the next thing you know, me and him was in a plane, and we're, headed out on the recruiting trail. We're not even talking offense or football, but as we've grown our relationship and kind of go through this spring and see how it all comes together, I'm sure there'll be more that kind of comes down from. We're not talking game planning yet or any of that type of stuff. For me, it's been, I've been in the system for 13 years. So, obviously the last 7 I've been out of the system, being here at Clemson, but for 13 years, this is what I ran at North Gwinnett High School, Southeastern Louisiana University, and at Northwestern High School. So he knows that, and he knew that coming in, and he knew how familiar I was with the system. So that's helped us too, just kind of, me seeing his version of it and learning it. And that's what's been great for me. Like I said, I've been out of it for 7 years. It's kind of like you ride a bike. You never forget it, but it's been really good for me to kind of – I'm not starting from scratch, but with Garrett, I'm learning his signals. I'm learning, what he sees in certain play calls based off of what I saw, in the past of running it. So that's been really good to kind of spend some time with him on that. But, from a passing game coordinator standpoint, we're going to work together like we always do. But at the end of the day, he's the offense coordinator, and he'll call the plays, and I can't wait to be a part of it in whatever capacity he needs me in.
Where do you think you can kind of take a step forward this season?
Brenny's been. I've just seen a totally different Briningstool. I told him yesterday I am super proud of him. I've challenged him a lot since I've taken over the tight end spot. And you know, he's such a talented player, and with that, he still has so much room to grow and how far he can go based off his potential. And, you know, again, like anything else, as we've spent more time together and our relationship has grown, you know, he trusts me more, and he knows that I want what's best for him too. But my biggest challenge to him going into, you know, this offseason was, hey, I need to see you take another step in maturity. I need to see you take another step in leadership, and I need to see consistency. And he has been really, really good in all three of those areas. With losing Luke out of the room and with losing Davis out of the room, you know, from a leadership standpoint, that's two huge pieces of the puzzle. Great players, but what they did to lead this group, you know, it's hard to replace that. And that's what I challenge Brinny with. And Sage too. Sage has done a really good job. This is the first spring where Sage has been healthy and has been able to do some good things and be out there. So I'm excited for the whole room with this new offense. They're excited about it. I see a different look in their eyes as they come to meetings, as they come to practice. But I would say right now, you know, we're halfway through spring. I'm very pleased with the entire group, and I'm excited to see what they're going to do with this new offense.
Speaking of this offense, you go to Southeast Louisiana, you've got Howard.
Southeastern. I mean, put some respect on the Lions' name, you know.
But you've got Hal Mummy, Matt Mummy, the air raid. You learn it, bring it back to South Carolina. Is that really your first experience with it? And so you brought it back. So
yeah, I was so originally when I went to meet with Hal and Matt and Gary Goff, who's the head coach at McNeese State, they were all at Southeastern, and I was at North Gwinnett High School in Georgia. And so I was there for 2 years, and the head coach I was working for there worked with Coach Mummy at Kentucky and at Southeastern. So he actually sent me down there to learn it, to bring it back to North Gwinnett so I could, you know, we could install it at North Gwinnett. So I was at North Gwinnett with it, installed it at North Gwinnett, then went to Southeastern after that, was a part of that run, and then brought it to Northwestern. So between those three schools, it was 13 years of being in the system. But yeah, like, you know, nobody was really doing it in the state of South Carolina. You know, obviously, you know, Bobby was having a good run at Burns during that with spread, and they were probably the best spread team at that point. And we did it a little bit different. We did it this air raid version. But yeah, and then, you know, it was funny. A lot of coaches in the state, you know, I was new to the state, and now I'm bringing this, you know, weird system, and we're going to do things a little bit different. And you know, I got made fun of by a lot of coaches in the state. And then a couple years later, we weren't getting made fun of anymore for running what we were running. So now a lot of people running in the state, and which is cool to see. It's kind of grown, and there's a lot of air raid versions of this offense in the state of South Carolina now.
So to piggyback off of that, yes, everybody ran the veer or the option or something like that as a way to try and compete. And then after you started doing that, how much did you see the proliferation of the spread 4 and 5 wide?
Yeah, it's just like anything else. You know, it was a lot of doubts, and you know, and then you start having some success with it, and then people want to start, you know, doing it or trying to do it. The key to it is there's a lot of people that'll try to copycat it, but it's not about the plays. It's about how you practice it. You know, you got to practice it a certain way. You got to meet a certain way. You know, you got to have a mentality a certain way to get out there and do the thing as a coach. Do some of the things that you're going to do. So, you know, I saw a lot of people come through Northwestern when I was there, and we were open doors just like we are here, and like, yeah, show you whatever you want. You know, teach you whatever you want. But very few, if any, would walk out of there and fully commit to it. And that's the thing. You have to 100% commit to this system and how it's run, practiced, the whole nine. And Coach Swinney's done that. You know, it hasn't been a situation where, you know, and I knew that when Garrett was coming and bringing it, I knew that, hey, this isn't, you can't go half and half, you know. You can't be 75-25, and you can't piece together what the best part of what Garrett does to the best part of what Clemson did in the past or whatever. It's got to be 100%. And Coach has done an awesome job with that. Just, hey, you got the keys. This is why I brought you here. Teach it to these guys. And let's go, and let's get our confidence back, you know, and let's get our swagger back. And it's just been fun to see the kids respond. They're having fun, you know, and they're just kind of not, like I said earlier, it's just a lot easier and more simple where they're not bogged down in a lot of details, and they can just go play football. That's why they came here. They came here to get a great education from Clemson. They came here to play football, and they came here to play football at a high level. And for most of these kids, they watched a lot of dudes out there make a lot of plays offensively that looked a lot of fun, and they wanted to be a part of that. And I think that's where we're going. I think that's where we're headed back to. Just need a little change, and that's what we got. And change is tough, but change can be really, really good too.
So I don't know if Dabo told you personally. You got a text. Garrett Riley's coming here. Just what were your initial thoughts? This is my wheelhouse now.
Yeah. I was excited. I think somebody quoted me as pig in mud. I've heard that a couple times. Geez, I shouldn't have said that. I keep getting gifs of pigs rolling around in mud from people, and I don't remember saying it, but I said it. Yeah, so now I get, you know, gifts of pigs in mud, and I'm like, what in the world does that mean? And then they tell me whatever. So I was very excited. You know, I had sat here, obviously being in it for 13 years and then being here. I always watched, you know, for years. I would always, at the end of the season, go, I just love to study offenses and what makes offenses tick, and not just ours or air raid or whatever. So you always look at like the top 5, top 10 offenses in the country, and they all had basically the same MO. They didn't run a lot of plays, but they were great at a handful of stuff. And when you looked at the top offenses in the country, year in, year out, it was two things that stood out. It was academies, Army, Navy, right, Air Force, and then it was the Oklahomas, you know. It was the Texas Techs or wherever, you know, back in the day. So when you look at those, and even to an extent, you know, Baylor, you know, years ago when they were running a version of it. So, you know, I always envision, man, with the players that we have here, if we could run a version of this system, like we could shoot up to that, you know. And so as soon as I heard that Garrett was coming, it was like, man, I was like, obviously I was excited, but the flip side of it was like for years I wanted to get back to that. And I didn't have to leave Clemson to get back to that, which is even better. So for me, I mean, I can't say. And I'd heard a lot of great. Me and Garrett both were like, you know, I know his brother, you know, over the years, but me and Garrett both was like, when he first got here, he was like, I think I've met you somewhere. I think we've come across each other somewhere, but he couldn't get past. I guess because I had the beard, it didn't connect. So one day he's in my office, and my business card, you know, obviously I'm you know, clean shaven in my business card. And he's like, I knew I'd met you somewhere before. And it was when he was at East Carolina, and I would go up there to see Lincoln and talk ball, and he was up there. So anyway, it's been good to just, you know, grow a relationship with him. And like I said, I'm super fired up that we get to do this at Clemson, and we get to see this offense at Clemson with the talent that we got.
How does Garrett's version of the air raid compare to what you were in? And if there's some new elements that you had over?
Almost identical. Not much difference. There's a couple things, maybe odd end stuff that maybe I did different, and there was a couple things, odd end stuff that he does different. But I mean, those are like one-offs, not from a base core, you know, conceptual part of the offense, like identical.
seems like there's a lot more balls in there in practice now, just two quarterbacks throwing it at a time, receivers throwing on the side, that kind of stuff. Just how much do you think that helps too, or do you think it does help some?
All right, so we got, I don't know if you're taping this, but we got to rewind the tape, all right? Remember what I said, you got to practice it a certain way, right? So none of that stuff is foreign to me, because in 2003, when I was down in Louisiana learning this offense, Southeastern Louisiana, all right? Get your coordinates right, all right? When I was learning the offense, that's what I was told, 2003. You got to practice a certain way, and those are certain ways that you got to practice it. You know, quarterbacks got to throw balls, and they got to throw it to the guys that's going to catch them: receivers, running backs, tight ends. And there should be no wasted rep. Nobody should be standing around when we could have 5 balls flying. Let's go. And I did some of that. You know, y'all would probably see my pre-practice a little bit last year, and in between drills, I did a lot of that with the tight ends. You know, that was the group that I could control and handle, and that's what we did. We did some of the pre-practice drills that we do now. We did those it was just on a smaller scale with tight ends. But, you know, you got to believe in a lot of stuff, and the practice and the way you practice and that part that you're seeing, that's it. You got to do that. And if you don't, you're going to be just average with this scheme. So that's why you see that.
To the average fan or whoever, what's the most obvious way this offense is going to look different? Like, what are they going to see? It's like, oh, that's how it's different.
I mean, every offense, I mean, to the average fan, you know, they just want to see people making plays, you know. And to me, I think in this offense, you put players in better positions to make plays. So, I mean, there's some plays that are in this scheme that we've run for 7 and 8 years and 9, and, you know, all the way back to Chad. But just overall, with it being easier, not as much, and now you can spend more time formation up people, motion up people, change the look for the defense. It just puts players in better space to make plays. So I would say that would be the biggest thing. You'll probably see, I know we're going to throw the ball downfield more than in the past. There's a lot of crossing routes and intermediate in the middle, in between the hashes that are part of the concept. So you'll see probably more balls in that 10 to 15 yard area in the middle of the field. So you'll see some things like that maybe stand out. But at the end of the day, it's about putting our best players in position to make plays. And it's just easier to do that when you're not kind of locked in a box of this play has to be this, it has to be these people on the field, and they're stuck where they are. That's not really how this is. This play may be that, and we may do this, and this, and move this guy around in 3-4 different positions 3 different times, but it's still this play. So the quarterback don't care where they're all at. He just knows what? This play. Does that make sense? So it allows somebody like Antonio, all right? Like, we go into a week and we go, how can we get tone on their worst DB without changing the offense? How can we get Brenny on their worst interior defender without changing the play? So that's probably what you'll see a little bit more of. And then obviously the receivers are going to, the outside receivers are going to stay on their sides. We're not going to be moving all over the place. That'll probably be one of the biggest things that you'll see a big difference. The average fan, you won't see a lot of people running around to get lined up. We'll get lined up quick, and then from there we can either run the play quick or we can just run it at a normal tempo, but we'll be able to get lined up quicker and not just kind of be all over the place, kind of herky-jerky to even get lined up to start the play. And that will probably be, now I'm thinking about it, that'll be probably one of the bigger things that you'll see. And I also think you'll be able to take advantage of Maffa and Shipley and those guys. So here's what's going to happen. With being able to spread people out and being able to attack more downfield, even in some of the screen game, what's going to happen is you're going to lighten up that box, because the threat, not necessarily what the percentages are, but the threat of you being able to throw the football at a high level is going to loosen that box up, because they got to come out and defend. And now you're going to get Phil, you're going to get Shipley, you're going to get them on 5-man boxes or really loose boxes, just from the threat of the pass. I used to kid around I never, when I was at Northwestern, I never called the offense air raid. Like, I didn't get called, like, a name doesn't mean anything. It's about what you execute and what you do. But, a lot of the media would be like, man, air raid, so that means what? We're going to throw it all over the place. They come to practice and see routes on air and see 5 quarterbacks throwing 5 balls for 10 minutes, and it's like, man, that dude never runs the ball, Well, I would never correct him. And I would never say, hey, you need to check the percentage of run versus pass. I didn't tell them that. I wanted them to write the articles that said I throw it all over the place, because that defensive coordinator next week is reading your article saying, man, that dude never runs the ball. Well, great. Don't defend the run then. And next thing you know, you got a 4-man box, 5-man box, and here we are, Gash City in the run game. So, don't get it twisted that just because we throw a lot of balls at practice right now, we putting Mafia and Shipley on the shelf. No, this benefits them just as much as it benefits anybody else on our offensive side.
You're using some smoke screens right now for all those defensive coordinators out there.
It is what it is. They don't read y'all's articles.
Did you think that was an issue the last couple of years, that some people just didn't respect the passing game as much as that, and the line was more crowded, the box was more crowded?
I mean, we didn't complete some balls that we needed to complete to probably loosen them up a little bit, but I don't think we went into games and said, man, they don't respect the passing game at all, and but with this version of a system, it's easier to loosen them up, probably versus what we did in the past. And with a guy like, we've talked about Brenny. With a guy like Brenny, is his strength going to be more in the box or matchup problems out in space? Well, let's we're not to say that we're not going to use him in the box, but we'll probably use him more in space than we have in the past, just because the system's a little bit different. So then that benefits him, but it also benefits the run game. You don't need that extra blocker in there sometimes, because the threat of him being out here, it's like Kelsey with Kansas City. You better go out there and defend him if he's out there. I don't care if he's got TE beside his name as tight end. And then what happens? You get some even at that level, you get some looser boxes. But at the same time, Brenny and Sage and whoever it is has got to come back in the box and be physical enough to help us in the run game too, because we're not going away from that either. So we're going to be fine.
I think Kate ran a version of this, I guess, at Westlake.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I feel like he has a certain comfort, can you tell, with this style? And do you think this?
Yeah, I think it fits him. Fits him well. I don't know exactly what version of offense he ran, but with his skill set, this is a really good fit for him. But he's loving it and having a ball out there running around making plays, and that whole quarterback group has been awesome to see. Just kind of take in a new coach at their position, but also a new offensive system, and man, they're out there having a blast.
The learning curve is kind of an equalizer. Usually the freshmen come in and they're all trying to learn the playbook in the offense. Now you got upperclassmen trying to learn all the same things. Does it kind of bridge the gap a little bit between the classes?
I mean, it's what's been cool about it is just kind of seeing, it's kind of been an equal, level playing field for all the players and a bunch of the coaches too. You got to remember that the coaches don't know the system either. So it's been pretty cool to watch us all just kind of go out there and start from square one, and go learn it and have a good time doing it. And it's just been, the players have been awesome. They've accepted all the changes and have been really excited about it. And like I said, for me, it's a different kind of excitement for me because now I get to kind of go back to what I loved and what, at the end of the day, I had a lot of success with that offense, which allowed me to get the attention of Coach Swinney to eventually get a job here. So it's just kind of come full circle to be able to have that offense here now and for me to continue to grow in it too and learn new things from Garrett. That's been great for me is to learn the tweaks and why he thinks the way he thinks. And that's only going to make me better for my future too.
One or two more.
Your first year, on field year, kind of, I guess, how do you kind of look back at it as a big picture, I guess, takeaways, what you learned, that kind of stuff?
Yeah. For me, it was the first time ever coaching tight ends. I've never coached tight ends before. I coached quarterbacks or receivers. So I was just telling somebody the other day, like, things are so, like, have slowed down for me on the field at practice. And there's two parts to that. The one part of it is I know the system. So that makes things slower for me. But I also know, the ins and outs of tight end play better than I did at this time last year. And I understand how a tight end fits within this system probably better than I know how a tight end fit in our previous system because that was new to me. So I was trying to grasp that part of it where I've played with a tight end before in this system and coached receivers in this system. So when the tight end's out of the box, it's like he's another receiver. So I just know it better regardless of whether it's a tight end or a receiver. So to me, it's kind of slowed down to where and I got a better relationship with the tight ends because we've been together for a year now with the guys that have come back. So I trust them more and they trust me more and we're just having a good time installing this offense and learning it and growing it. So I would say things have just slowed down for me and I just see it a little bit better now.
Going to your tight ends, they say motivational Monday, Tupac Tuesday, Wheezy Wednesday.
That's right. Wheezy Whitney Wednesdays. It's a mix. Sorry. It's mix.
Thake said that he loves that no country music allowed. Mm-mm. But
I'd walk out of this session if you dropped a country song right now.
How do you use that music to kind of get those guys focused in? I mean, how does that work together?
We got when we go to practice, we got Tanoga Tuesdays and Working Man Wednesday, and I've always had music and I've always named it, it's a routine. And I'm trying to build a routine with them. So to me, it's like, all right, well, we're going to have a routine in music when it comes to in the season. So, on Tuesday when we come in here and Pac's blasted, you know what today is? It's Tupac Tuesday. It's also Tanoga Tuesday, right? So they connect together and they know the routine and they understand it and they start connecting the dots. They know on Friday's Focus Friday. So on Friday, we have like a 10-minute meeting. That's all we really get. So on Focus Friday, there's no music on Friday because I need them to understand it's Focus Friday for Clemson football. So there's no music. But, it's Throwback Thursday. You didn't mention Throwback Thursday. That's probably the day they don't like as much because it's just a mixture of a lot of, 90s and early 2000s, and they're just not as hip to that as I am. But they're starting to really come along on the Wheezy Whitney. Today we had a 6 a.m. position meeting, and I went to wake them up. I'm going to crank something up as loud as we can go. And before I could even hit it, Banks Pope goes, I'd like to have a little Whitney Houston to get me ready. So, of course, hey, top of our lungs, I will always love you. And that's how I end this media session. I will always love you. All right? Appreciate it.
If you're in the Columbia or Sumter or PD areas and you're in any way interested in buying and selling a home, commercial property, land, need to consider reaching out to Uptown Realty. They're based out of Sumter and run by a friend of mine, Patrick Enzer, big Clemson guy, used to cover the Tigers in a newspaper capacity, longtime supporter of Tiger Illustrated, longtime listener to the Dubcast. The home buying process should be an enjoyable experience, so let Patrick and his staff do all the heavy lifting. All you got to do is pick up the phone and call 803-774-0435 or go to uptownrealtysc.com. Celero Communications, formerly known as Tandem Payment, is a full-service integrated electronic payments provider powered by leading-edge technology. Celero provides a wide array of merchant solutions, simplified payments. They make onboarding, taking payments, maintaining risk management and compliance, and getting support quick and easy. At Celero, they're all about helping you achieve sustainable growth as a business. Taking payments isn't the only thing your business needs. With Celero's solutions, you can manage inventory, sell products and services via social media, schedule staff, track sales, get reports, and much, much more. Find out more about Celero at celerocommerce.com. That's CELERO commerce.com. Another loyal supporter of the Dubcast is Blackacre Law Firm in Greenville, a subsidiary of Parham Smith & Archenhold. Blackacre helps South Carolina residents achieve their dreams of home ownership by providing experienced professional representation for real estate closings. Attention to detail is crucial in real estate law. Blackacre is committed to making sure nothing gets by them preparing residential or commercial closings. Blackacre also offers estate planning services for their clients in the Greenville area. Find out more about Blackacre at 864-326-3507.
All right, so, man, it's been a great spring so far. Been very pleased with my guys in terms of what we're trying to accomplish this spring. The goal was coming in was we got to get more physical, right? We got to get more detailed in what we were doing from a fundamental technique standpoint. And then we got to get these guys playing at a high level. And so that was my goal. I just wanted my guys to know what to do. It's always alignment, assignment, and key. If you know how to line up, you know your assignment, then you have a better chance of executing the play. And so I've been very pleased with where we are right now. You know, with XT and Mascoll being out, you know, I've had a chance to play a lot of guys. Get a chance to see K. Denhoff. You get a chance to see TJ Parker, who I'm really excited about. You know, he's everything that I thought he would be, recruiting him. And, man, he's going to help us tremendously. And then you get an opportunity to see Xavier Patterson, who's a kid that's you know, growing. He's still developing, but so far he's done a great job. And Jaheim and Armand Mason has been the surprises so far in camp. So it's been fun. It's been fun coaching these guys. And I'm excited just to see the development moving forward.
I understand Armand and Cade had pretty good scrimmage this Saturday.
Yes, they did. I was pleased with what they were doing. Now I think Cade had a better scrimmage. Armand had a few mental errors, but he's shown flashes, man, from a pass rush standpoint, just from a knowledge. That I've been pleased with him. He's still a young man that has not played a lot of football, and he's still learning. So the mistakes that he's making, or the other guys are making, those are guys are making mistakes because they've never played a lot of football. And so from my standpoint, you know, I have to be patient. And, you know, I'm a competitor. I want to win. I want them to be perfect, but not every rep is perfect. And but so all I can do is just keep coaching them hard. You know, just coach them hard, coach them on the details of what we're trying to do and get them to execute at a high level.
How much of an opportunity do you feel like there is for Cade to get more consistent snaps this coming season?
Yeah, well, I think if he continued to do what he's been doing in terms of understanding the defense, playing physical, taking advantage of the opportunity. We've had two guys, you know, Mascoll and XT, so he's been getting a lot of reps. And I think getting reps is going to help him, and he's done a great job. You know, every year I talk about having 5 to 6 guys ready to play, and that's still my plan. That's the goal, and hopefully, you know, K to be one of those guys in the rotation.
You talk about TJ Parker and everything you thought he would be. I mean,
Yeah.
What is that? How do you describe it?
Well, he's physical. He's a big kid. He has a great foundation. His D-line coach has done a great job in preparing him for college football. For a young man who should be in high school to come in, man, and play and execute and do the things that he's doing on the field as a high schooler, you know, I've been very pleased. And I saw that when I would go watch him practice. I saw that when I watched him play. He's doing a great job. He's physical at point of attack. He can rush the quarterback. He's what we call a plug-and-play guy. That means he can come in day one, and you can put him in. He can play, and he can execute. And that's what I wanted when I recruited him, and that's what we got.
For Peter Wood, is he playing DN right now, and if so, how much is he playing at that spot?
Peter Woods can play anywhere he wants to on the D line. He's just that good. And right now, he's been playing mostly inside, but man, he's going to play wherever we need him to play, and he can do it. He can play that position at a high level as well. So if we need him to play at an end position, that's where he'll play. Yep.
What is it about him that has kind of allowed him to come in and put everybody on notice, I guess, or let everybody see what?
Right. Well, he's a physical kid. He's twitched up. He plays with a tremendous effort. He had a great D-line coach coming out of high school, and so the foundation for him is already there. He's a competitor. He's hungry. He's all those things. And you can, Coach Swinney talks about you know it when you see it. I saw Peter Woods as a freshman, and I was like, wow, you don't get to see many guys like that. And, man, he's all of that. And I'm happy he's on our team.
I guess XT's not able to practice, but just going back to him coming back this season, were you surprised at all that he came back for a sixth year, or what do you think?
No, I wasn't surprised. I was not surprised XT needed to come back. If you've been injured and you haven't done the things that he wanted to do from a football standpoint, and, we talk about his draft stock wasn't where it needed to be. And so now he gets a chance to come back and hopefully stay healthy and prove that he deserves to be one of those top guys. And so just having him, it's been good to see the other guys play, but knowing that I'm gonna have an opportunity to get X back, and then Mascoll, that's good. And I got a chance to truly evaluate the young players, and so it's been a blessing to be able to do that.
What do you think XT needs to do to kind of take that next step forward once he's healthy?
That's a good question. I think, XT, man, he's always been an explosive guy, right? I think for him it's just been detailed in his, things that we ask him to do, from a run game standpoint, understanding block rec, understanding being physical at point of attack, just complete his pass rush, just get some tools in his pass rush game. And if he's able to do that, and we saw the 2 games where he played last year and he was lights out, and he's dialed in on what it's going to take. His body he looks amazing, and so we just got to keep him healthy. And if that happens, I mean, he could tear this place up and really be really, really good, and that's what we're looking for.
How is he trying to handle this recovery process, like you said, after these first couple games?
Yeah.
Really strong, and then this
Well, I think initially you gotta. I think he had a hard time initially because he was disappointed, but he's in a good headspace right now, and that's what we want. If we can keep him locked in and good in his headspace and he's focused, dialed in, that's the best version of XT, and that's what I see right now. And I saw that he stepped up the other day, just been a vocal guy in my meeting on the field. I'm asking him questions, man, what did you see? How can you encourage these guys? That's a different XT. He's never been that guy before. And so that's encouraging for me as a position coach, knowing that, I'm preaching that message, but I got one of my guys just right there, he and Mascoll both, encouraging the players, and that's what we got to have.
How is Mascoll? I obviously wasn't too bad from what I saw the other day, but where's his status as far as the rest of spring goes on?
Oh, he's good, man. He hurt his ankle, but he was in full practice today, and I'm excited about that. I got a chance to get him a lot of reps. He's been good in my meetings. He's locked in. He's been encouraging. He's been coaching those guys, and that's what I need for those 2 players to help me out, to be a leader. And you can't leave if you're not here. And so I'm always reminding those guys, look, man, I need for you to be locked in my meetings and, bring these young guys on and be the leader that we're looking for. So I've been really pleased with Mascoll.
What was the sales pitch with Mascoll?
It wasn't a sales pitch. He let me know and told Coach Swinney, Coach, I'm coming back. I said, hey, let's go. You don't have to sell Clemson. You don't have to sell our program. These guys understand what we have and what they want to accomplish. And it's our goal. It's my goal. It's our job is to help them get to that point. I played in the NFL, and I know guys want to get there. I played 9 years. It was a hard 9 years. And so, if I can do anything to help them, I've lived that dream. And so I want to help them reach their goal and have an opportunity to play there.
I guess what do you think Justin has to do to reach that dream? What does he have to improve on?
Well, he got to continue to perform on the field, right? You got to make plays that you're supposed to make. You got to be available. You got to do the little things. And if he can continue to do that and stay on the right track, and Mascoll is gaining weight. He's doing the things that he needs to do in the castle, taking care of his body. He's eating well. He's getting rest. He's doing all those things. And this is not I've never seen this Mascoll before. So I'm excited to see his progression moving forward.
Do you think that's just because he knows it's his opportunity?
Yeah. Hey, man. I think so. A lot of guys are waiting on, like, man, when I'm going to get my time. I was that way. But I think he feels that. Like, now I got an opportunity to really be the guy. And he does. And so, but he hadn't, we don't have any starters. If T.J. Parker wants to play, Kate Denhoff wants to play, Xavier, those guys want to play. And so, got to have competition in my room. And we haven't even talked about David Ojebwe and A.J. Hoffler there yet, right? And so, I got a deep room, and I got guys that are coming in that wants to play football right away. And so I'm telling those guys, man, just push the starters. And starters, you gotta continue to work hard each and every day, because we grade everything. Individual, team, pass rush, we grade everything, and everything counts.
Do you have a pecking order?
Nope.
Justin next year?
I do not. That's why I've graded every scrimmage, every practice reps, and I'm still sitting down. I'm evaluating everything, and so hopefully coming out of spring, I can have somewhat of a pecking order and how I want it to look. But I really don't right now.
Is there any one or two guys that have graded out the highest consistently when you grade them?
Sure. Yeah, we got one or two guys. I don't want to say yet, but I do have guys that are doing a really good job. But it's ebbs and flows. It's not consistent. Guys are still making mental errors. Right, guys are still misaligned. Right, so you get at one moment you look around, you're like, oh man, he's making some strides, and then you like the next day, like, oh my goodness. So they're young guys, right? They're gonna make mistakes. So I don't want to say who in my second or third or whatever, third or fourth. I just think all the guys are working hard, and they got to continue to do that. And I'm gonna continue to evaluate until we get to fall camp. Yeah, I think so. I think, like I said earlier, the guys are working hard. And I'm pleased so far with what I've seen out of the young guys. We're not quite there yet, but they are definitely making strides. Yep. Well, surprise in terms of just his fundamentals and technique. Jaheim can rush the quarterback. There's no doubt, man. That's one of his skill set. And so for us as a defense, we gotta put him in the right situation so he can do what he's good at. I don't expect to see Jaheim in a 4-eye or a 3 technique trying to take on guards and tackles. All right, I like to see him on the edge and rush the quarterback. And so that's the skill set that he brings to the table. And as a position coach, it's my job to make sure that I help those guys identify what they're good at. And that's one of the things that Jaheim is good at. So we're going to get him on the field in some passing situations.
Dabo said that he thought he was the third best pure pass rusher.
Yes, sir. I think that. Yes. He can definitely rush the quarterback.
Seems like he's done a good job of filling out.
Yep. So he's eating well. He's eating better. Okay. He's doing the things that we're asking him to do. He's working with D-Love in the weight room. D-Love has done a great job of just putting mass on our guys and working them hard. And that's the buy-in, right? You got to get stronger, bigger, stronger, faster. And our guys are doing that.
I think Dabo said that Zaire Patterson could be a great player. You just got to decide he wants to be.
No question, man. You look at that dude, he walks in a room, you're like, wow. You know, he has the height, the weight, all the measurables, but he needs to decide if this is what he wants to do. And if he ever decides that and that light goes off, he can be a great player. But I can't want it more than him. Coach Swinney can't want it more than him. He has to make a decision that he wants to do it.
What are your expectations in year 3 for him and Cade?
Just to be consistent, just to be able to get on the field and I can trust those guys. I want to be able to, when I put them on the field, not have to worry, are they going to execute the play? I want to know for sure that I can count on them in any situation, any position on the field, whether it's near the goal line or whether they got to go 100 yards or 90 yards, whatever the situation is. I want to know that they can execute. And so I think that's the big deal. All right, I can't have mental errors in the practice field and then, for these guys expect on game day that you're going to play. It's not going to happen. If you're not going to get the job done on the practice field, then you're not going to play. I've gone in a couple of years ago just playing 3 guys because of the inconsistency of the backups. So I just need those guys. I need Zaire to understand if you're going to play for us, you got to do things the right way. You got to know what to do, right? And that's what I was talking about early. Assignments, alignments, assignments, right? You know how to line up. Okay, you got a chance. You know what your assignment is. You got a chance, and that's the buy-in. Yes. That's why we're in spring ball, right? He's doing a good job. He's learning. He's never played a whole lot of football. He's come from a small high school, and so he's still developing. But so far I've been pleased with his progress. He's not where I need him to be, but he's moving forward, and that's my job as his coach, to find ways to help him to execute what we need. And so we've been doing a lot of walkthroughs. We've been doing a lot of meetings in the room, and just trying to find ways, how do my guys learn? And just spending a lot of time walking through things and talking through things and putting them on the board, right? So they can truly understand what they need to do. And the other part is understand the why. Why are you doing what you're doing? I don't know. That's it's a good question, man. I think I've seen a lot of 12 personnel, and so our guys been able to play over the tight ends a lot. The guys are, I think they look like they're, from my perspective, they look excited about playing in that offense. But I don't know, man. I've been so locked in on my dudes, trying to make sure they know what to do. What I've seen so far is my guys have been able to play over the tight end and attach tight end situations, and like I said, the 12 personnel. But I just been really focusing on my position, to be honest with you.
What's it like as a coach, just when you lose Miles and lose KJ and you've lost all this experience?
Right.
I mean, do you feel like you have a lot of work to do still before you get the ball? I mean, what is that like?
I think you always feel like you got a lot of work. I mean, you think about Miles and KJ, they played a lot of snaps, and guys that you could trust to go out and play and execute at a high level. And then you come in the spring, and that's what spring is for, is to get the young guys ready. But you come in, you don't have XT, you don't have Mascoll. Now you got Cade. But I came in the spring excited, man, really to have an opportunity to get these guys some reps and just to see what they could do. every guy on that, and from my position, have gone against the first team, all right, because I rotate them all. And so I did that so I can really get a true evaluation of who can play on Saturdays. And, they've shown me a few of them that they could do it. They can play on Saturdays. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, he can play. He can play day one. All right, so, you got to earn the right to play, right? And if you're a starter, you got to continue to do the things so you can remain a starter. But if you're a young guy, man, you got to be pushing. You should be pushing every day to get in that starter role. And you do that by making plays. You got to be productive. I don't want a guy out there that's, grading out 90%, but it's not productive. I'll take a guy that's 68%, but, man, he's productive. And that's what football is about. I want the sacks. I want the turnovers. I want all of that, right? I don't want a guy just, hey, coach, I'm just doing my job. Yeah, that's fine, but be productive doing your job as well. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I guess in hindsight, when you look at last season, you feel like you guys were productive enough in terms of...
Well, I mean, we got high expectations. We got goals, man, and we didn't reach them all. There were some sacks that we didn't get, some turnovers we didn't get, and, there was misalignments, misassignments, things like that. And so it's my job is to make sure my guys are detailed, right? I want to make sure I do my part, and that we're not the problem from a defensive standpoint. We're going to hold our end of this job. We're going to do our job. We're going to do it consistently. I owe that to my head coach. I owe that to the rest of my defensive staff. And so my job coming in is to be focused, dialed in, demanding, get my guys to play at a high level. If they're not playing at a high level, then I need to find some other guys that want to play at a high level. But we're going to be consistent. We're going to be physical, and we're going to do our job. And we're going to do it at a high level.
Wes says we emphasize the turnovers this spring.
Yep.
How do you practice emphasizing turnovers?
Well, you just got to do it, man. We got different drills that we do pre-practice. If the running back is running, you got to come behind and try to punch the ball out. You got to do the things that we've been working on. But that's been the goal, is to get more turnovers. And it's been good, man. It's been really good how we changed this offseason, how we're doing things in practice. And turnovers is a focus. Pass rush is a focus. Being strong at point of attack, being physical, those are the focus. And if we just got to continue to do it. And it's like muscle memory. You do it in practice, man, you're going to do it in the game. And that's what we got to get out of our guys. I don't know if he's different. I just think he is holding people accountable, and that's coming from the head man. We all got to be held accountable. There are things that we got to do from a staff standpoint. Coach Swinney, he called me and told me what I needed to do. We all went through it, and I heard him loud and clear. And I'm a competitor. I want what's best for my guys, and I love my job, right? And I love football, and so I'm gonna get the guys that want to play and play hard, and I'm gonna demand it. And if you don't do those things, then you're not gonna play for me. I'm gonna go get somebody else, and that's how you do it. It's always been that way, right? You got to get guys to play and play fast, play physical. Get on and off the field, do the little things, and that's what we got to do.
One more question.
Yeah. Keep watering the bamboo. Yeah.
How close do you feel like he is to actually?
Well, here's the thing. From a defensive standpoint, when I played football, college football, the way I got on the field was from special teams. Too many times these kids are thinking they can come right out of high school and get started in college football. It does not work that way, right? And so the role of a coach is to help identify what they can do, right? You got to learn how to play special teams. That's what we need you. I need him to learn how to play punt return, all the things on special teams. And if you start having flashes and you start doing things on special teams, you get noticed. Now it's like, okay, now I can try maybe put him on some defense. But these guys come in, man, they want to play defense right away. Learn to play special teams. I got my start playing special teams. I got to the NFL playing special teams. I didn't start starting in my career until like year 7. Right? That's when I started. But I got on an NFL team by playing special teams. Right? I played at Alabama by playing special teams. And that's what I'm going to help my guys with. And that's what I've been doing. Like, look, man, you got to help us on special teams.
Okay, really interesting stuff on a lot of levels there, if you're paying attention. I appreciate Dabo Swinney allowing all these assistants to sit down with us. Allows us and you all to learn a lot more about this football team and program. Appreciate the support of our sponsors for helping make this happen. And also thanks to every one of you for listening. Appreciate it. Cheers.